Thanks very much. I'm John O'Connor from Deep Insight, and let me just explain a little bit about what Deep Insight does. My mother used to ask me, what the hell do you do in Deep Insight? And probably the best way I could describe what we do is to say we're in the marriage counselling business. Essentially, we help large corporates understand the relationships that they have with their employees and with their major corporate accounts. So on the corporate account side of things, so on the customer side, effectively we answer three questions for those companies. One, the question we answer is, which of your major accounts are you going to leave or going to leave you in the next 12 or 18 months? Secondly, which of your account managers are doing a good job at building long-term relationships with those customers? And then thirdly, what are the 2 or 3 key issues you need to think about this year because they're top of the mind for your customers as well? Now, as a company, we're based here in Cork. We have offices in the UK, in Amsterdam, in Warsaw, and down in Australia. So it's a fairly diverse geographical set of locations, but it's all run out of the headquarters here in Cork. And some of the companies we work with include these. A lot of household names in there. Some of them probably less so because they are in the business-to-business world, and some of them are Australian. So, for example, a company like Toll is the biggest logistics company in Asia, but wouldn't be a particularly well-known name here in the Irish or even in the European marketplace. So all of these companies, they have basically one thing in common. They want to know a little bit more about what their employees think of them, and they want to know a little bit more about what their major corporate accounts think of them. I'm not going to bore you with kind of massive amounts of detail on the methodology, but essentially what we do is we've built up a methodology over a period of about 10 or 15 years, and it basically says that a long-term relationship is not really based on things like satisfaction, which is something that everybody measures. It's actually built around whether that account and the people in that account trust you and whether they're committed to a long-term relationship with you. So the things we measure are things like trust, commitment, and yes, we do measure satisfaction, and we measure leading edge, which is how you stack up against competition, and so on. But the key ones for a long-term relationship are trust and commitment to you as an organisation. Now, just give you one example of a client of ours, BT here in Ireland. BT, when we started working with them back in 2007, would probably have said themselves that they're not a particularly customer-focused organisation. They are a purely business-to-business operation in the Irish marketplace, billion-dollar business, but really only about 100 major clients. And we started on a journey with them, and actually with the MD of the company in particular, around how to become more customer-centric, more focused on their customers, and really understand the feedback that those customers were giving them, and actually trying to help them transform the BT business in Ireland. And they've been a client of ours now from 2007. We basically do an online assessment of all of their top corporate accounts. And each year we feed back to them the views of those accounts. When we also feed back how the account manager is doing in building those long-term relationships. And for BT, they would claim themselves it's been actually one of the reasons that they have been so successful in the Irish marketplace over the last few years, despite going through a pretty awful downturn. They've gone from being an unprofitable part of the business to being a profitable part of business in that length of time. And it's not all Deep Insight's doing. We just provide the tools and the mechanics. It's the guys in BT actually going to make it happen. That's essentially what we do in Deep Insight. Fairly kind of quick summary.